Hello everyone, this is Lord Shadrach speaking. I'm making this video response to Jordan Owen. First of all, I'm very grateful for the video response that I got from you. I'm very thankful. I was very ecstatic. I sat through the entire thing, and I'm very happy to receive a response from you. This will be a video response to that. Okay, this video will address my Christian faith, why I started this video channel, and why I like ASMR. Alright, first of all, why I started this channel. Now, when I first started this Lord Shadrach channel, and I'll get on later about the name origin, I was originally under the alias of Soraka. Now, there was some issue falling out on a message board. I don't want to get into detail right now. I'd rather not talk about it here. But from October to December, I was, in limbo and I didn't have any videos, and I would watch videos, on YouTube just because, just at random. It wasn't until I came across The Amazing Atheist. I was looking up Jesus and Satan, the meeting in the wilderness and what have you. And then I saw The Amazing Atheist and the videos that he was making about religion. And then I saw Venom Fang X's videos, and from there I was introduced to the videos of the religious debate community. And that's how I met you, Jordan. That's how I met you. That's how I met you. I originally remember, the battles between the Amazing Atheist and Amendum and Tommy from the Bronx. And now, what was my claim to fame was when I started making videos up against a guy named Desert File. Desert File still makes videos on YouTube. And I still talk to my friends, Night Vision Phantom, Raving Conservative Radio. I still talk to those guys, but they don't make videos anymore. I don't know what happened to Choson Ninja. But Shock of God, he still makes videos. He still makes his stuff, talking about religion and everything. Stone Commander, he doesn't do much anymore. Amendum, he still makes videos. And Jesus Freak 777, he now makes art devoted to Coca-Cola cans. He does a lot of good stuff on there. Believe me, he's got good stuff. Check him out. But anyways, that's why I started the channel, my Lord Shadrach channel. In addition to blogging and, debating religion, debating politics and things that I liked, even some movies I made. If you want to see some of the movies I've made, you can check them out. I mean, they're pretty awesome. I remember the first movie I ever did was called Arkham Patrol. Arkham Patrol was actually a movie I did in one of my classes. It was I had to make a movie for one of my classes. It was a film class I had in college, and me and my brother and two of our friends decided, let's make a movie. So I made a movie as I was a security guard dealing with with the students and zombies and stuff. It's pretty good. It's awesomeness, and I'm proud to have made such a thing. I made a few more movies, but Arkham Patrol remains the one I love the best because it was so awesome and so great. Anyways, so on the topic of my YouTube videos, now I wasn't really liked on YouTube, to tell you the truth. I'm sorry, my thumb gets in the way. But anyways, the thing is that, I say a lot of I means, and it really got aggravating. Now, when I was debating against Desert File, which looking back was the most cringe-worthy videos I ever made in my entire YouTube career. Ugh. There was one video I did that I'm deeply ashamed of, and I'm deeply It was a video called Maximum Ownage. It was just me waving around a banana. I'll never make the mistake of never eating I'll never make that mistake again. I mean, make sure to eat before I make a video, make sure it's not too hot, because that does affect cognitive abilities. And that's basically what happened in that video. But the one video that really got the biggest the biggest response was a video I made about this German emo band that I was listening to at the time, because to the little backtracking, I was very supportive of the emo movement, and I thought it was pretty cool, these kids, being emo. I didn't have issues. At first, I was an anti-emo, but then I started learning about it and say, hey, these kids are pretty cool. The same goes for why I'm a big supporter of furries. But anyways, there was this German band called Tokyo Hotel, and I made this video, this profanity-laced video, cussing out Perez Hilton, because Perez Hilton made this video basically bad mouthing Tokyo Hotel. So I made this 4 minute and 30-second video filled with so many swear words and so many cuss words in it that people were like, "Oh my god, this guy's cool, this guy's awesome." That video was my most popular video to date. It was pretty cool. Now, of course, camera's over here. I'm looking over here. Bear with me on that. But anyways, it was very good. Like, it would take me a month to get 300 views on a single video. That video, in defense of Tokyo Hotel, that video alone got 300 views in a day. And I'm like reading the comments and people were cheering me on. Like, it went viral, believe it or not. It went viral. A Russian fan site basically posted it on, and people were saying, "This guy's like Chris Crocker." Remember when Chris Crocker was crying for Britney Spears? I mean, I wrote a comment. I know I said I mean a lot, but I wrote a comment in that video where I say Chris Crocker, cries for Britney Spears. I cuss for Tokyo Hotel. I'm like, "Argh!" And that wasn't the only cool thing in my YouTube career. In addition to Arkham Patrol and my videos, I made videos defending Boxy. I made videos, defending all sorts of things that I liked. You remember Boxy, that crazy girl that was like all jumping around like Admiral Awesome and all that other crazy stuff. Remember that? There was another video, actually a two-part video I did, where I had this fixation on G.I. Joe. I still do. I love G.I. Joe. I grew up on G.I. Joe. Kudos to my older brothers for getting me into G.I. Joe. Especially considering my favorite wrestler of all time, Sergeant Slaughter, was in it. Fun fact, Sergeant Slaughter follows me on Twitter. I am not making that up. When Sergeant Slaughter says, when I saw the notification on Twitter, Sergeant Slaughter is following you, I'm serious. It was the real guy, and I'm like, "Oh man, this is awesome." Anyways, back on the topic at hand, there was this guy who dressed up like Cobra Commander, and he was interviewing random, cosplayers and stuff. I said, "Hey, cool." So I sent him a private message on YouTube back when you could do that, and he says, "Hey man, I like your stuff. I like your you're up all night with Cobra Commander. I think it's a cool series." He's like, and the guy's like, "Thank you." So I asked him, "Would you be willing to interview me?" So he says, "Sure." So he basically made this video, this part video series, since YouTube at the time didn't allow, all the videos and stuff, like video. They didn't allow videos more than 10 minutes at the time. You had to break stuff up. Now they allow hour-long videos. But anyways, this guy dressed up, I'm gonna just call him Cobra Commander. He made this video, this two-part interview where I was interviewed by Cobra Commander. That right there was just the most awesome highlight of my YouTube career. Now, I've made a number of movies on this channel, and I've made a number of videos, arguing and debating politics. Another great video that I did was against militant vegans called "Hey Vegans, F Off." And that right there, was the cleaned up title, or "Hey Vegans, Screw Off," and that's the G-rated title. But that right there, a lot of people were saying, "I like this guy. He eats meat. This is cool." And I made, a video response, like a sequel to it, where it didn't have a lot of cussing. So, yeah. Vegans Revisited. And it was against militant vegans. But anyways, about my YouTube career, I admit I am a Christian. I'm not perfect. I'm not good at it. I do cuss. I do get, I get angry. I cuss. I get, I'm only human, so bear with it. Now, about my Christian faith, about how I became a Christian. I was a little kid. My grandfather had passed on, and my grandmother took me aside and said he went to be with Jesus and told me about the basics about my Christian faith. Long story short, I got to know Jesus and I got to know him, and I was led up, to the, how the altar is, the altar calls, for Jesus. She led me. I remember she took me by the hand, she led me to the altar, and I received Christ then and there. Was I completely devoted? Yes and no. Because you got to understand, I was a kid at the time, and I only knew that Jesus did a lot of cool things and everything like that. Dying for my sins was one of them. I wasn't, paying much attention in children's church. I do miss Brother Alvin, though. He was a great guy. I miss him. He called himself Brother Alvin because that was his name. I miss that guy. He baptized me. I miss him. I remember being in the baptism pool, and we did the baptism and everything. I remember that guy. I mean, that was the best. I mean, I don't know what happened to the tape, man. I was angry when I lost that tape. I was so upset. I mean, I liked it because it was it was basically me coming into the family of Christ. When my grandmother died, fast forward, I was 13, my grandmother had died, and she had been teaching me the basics of the Bible. It was as if the training wheels had come off for me. That this was it. That my teacher, my grandmother was my teacher when it came to the matters of the Christian faith. That the training wheels had come off. And I was practically on my own in the wilderness, metaphorically speaking. And the thing is that I was out in the wilderness. I was still trying to read the Bible, still trying to, have my faith. It was a very stressful time when my grandmother had died. Very stressful time, to tell you the truth. And, it was not a pleasant experience. My mom and my dad, they had, I'm not going to go in detail about that, but it was a very upsetting time. And my dad, if he was okay with my YouTube career, he could tell you the story. I mean, if he wanted to, but if he doesn't, that's his business. But anyways, going forward, and I was practically, going through middle school and high school. I was, to tell you the truth, I was a sheltered kid myself, and I basically, you know, I was considered to be the odd one out. I still am. I didn't like it, but I've come to accept the fact that I am the odd one out. In a way, it's a good thing. It's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because, I feel that I am, I'm an individual, but it's a curse because I want to be acknowledged and accepted. I'll get on that later. But anyways, when my grandmother had died, after she died, and for years, I had my ups and downs of my faith, and for a week in high school, I started thinking atheistic. What led me back to my faith? What led me back to my faith? It wasn't a Bible verse. It wasn't anything like that. It was actually a song. They're not necessarily a Christian band, but it was a song that was made by My Chemical Romance. Remember those guys? It was this song called I'm Not Okay, I Promise. And I started watching the music video. I was like, I relate to this song. Yeah. Yeah, that's me. I saw the music video and I started thinking about the things that were going on in the music video, and I was like, yeah, that's me. And it was like divine comedy. It was like excuse me, not divine comedy. That's a good poem by Dante, but anyways. And then I switched it over and it was John Hagee preaching on the TV or something like that. I think it was John Hagee preaching. But it led me back to the faith with such tenacity. I was like, Lord Jesus, how could I walk away from thee? You've been there the whole time. I was foolish to not notice it. Now, when I made my videos on YouTube, I had to do it in secret because, I was in college. I was a struggling college student. And after seeing The Amazing Atheist and all those guys and Venom Fang X, now I was once a young Earth creationist. I'm not anymore. To tell you the truth, where I stand in regard to creationism and evolution, I am a cross between an old Earth creationist and a theistic evolutionist. And I'll explain that eventually as we go on. But anyways, I had, my family was like, no, 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 you don't need to be making YouTube videos. You need to focus more on your studies. You're struggling through college. You really need to focus more on college. So I took a sabbatical against my will. And I liked arguing on YouTube. It was pretty cool and awesome. I got to voice my opinion, not just with religion, but politics, pop culture, anything you name it, even making movies. I made a few movies, but it is what it is. But I did have an issue. I had a falling out with a person on YouTube. I'm not going to go in detail. It was, it was just some silly internet drama. I'm gonna just say it like that. And a number of my friends who were decent, who were good Christians at the time that I talked to, they said, "No, you need to go back to church. I mean, you walk with it. You're within walking distance of your church. No more excuses. You need to go." So I did. So I went and spoke to my pastor, Buddy Wimberly, great guy, by the way, great guy. And you can see the church services of Laney Road Baptist. They're a great bunch of people. Great bunch of people. I mean, the pastor's been my neighbor for years, even before I was ever born. I could tell you a lot of good things about the Wimberleys. They're great people. But anyways, so I started going back to church. I started going back to it. I would go Wednesday nights. Then I started going Wednesday and Sunday nights, and then I started going Wednesday nights, Sunday nights, and Sunday mornings. Now, at the time, I had a friend named Benjamin Hornstein, or YT Ben 26, and he was an atheist. And he gave me a lot of gripe about going back to church. He gave me a lot of gripe about it, and he hated the fact I was going to church. But I think the problem was the fact that he saw how happy I was, because I was at a very low point, like what you said, Jordan. Like what you said in your video about being having a low point in your life. You had this low point where you after college. Now, after going through college, I didn't like it. I was struggling through some of my classes. I didn't like, having to deal with it. When I graduated, it was a blessed release that I didn't have to deal with it anymore. But I still had to pay back my college loan. I still am to this day. But anyways, I had to deal with not having a job. I had a useless history major. Looking back, I should have done something better. I mean, I should have gone to a trade school. I should have, at least tried something different that wasn't college. But then I was very upset and angry. I didn't have much going on. And if you see my In Defense of Tokyo Hotel or any of my older videos, you'll notice I had a beard. And at the time, I just didn't care. I didn't care to shave, and to tell you the truth, there were days I didn't even care to bathe. And I would sleep in. I just didn't care. I just stopped caring at that point. But then eventually, after a couple of my friends online got together and said, "Look, you need to start shaving your face. You need to start getting your act together and going back to church," and I did. And I liked it. I loved it. It actually gave me some form of stability. And then I started attending conventions and I made friends there. And that's another topic for another day. That's another topic for another day. This is mainly about my YouTube careers. And then, fast forward to 2016, I'm, working nights. And I remember I had a friend at the time who was into the Whisper videos. And back in 2010, I was, feeling very nostalgic. I get nostalgic for videos that I like. And I started looking up Whisper videos. And that's when I came across the ASMR videos. I came across the ASMR stuff. Now, what happened was I made an ASMR video called Shadrach ASMR. And I started watching videos. I was working nights. I'm not going to disclose what I do for a living, for privacy reasons. But I will say this. That I work nights and I'm like, sleeping during the day. I need something to put me to sleep. So I started listening to ASMR. I watched ASMR on my headphones and I'm like, started to feel relaxed. It felt good. So for 2 entire years, I didn't make any content. And then I came across this one ASMR artist named Whispering Pizza. Very phenomenal person. Very great videos. She's got great videos. And suddenly it clicked. It suddenly clicked in me, and I started making my own videos. Were they fancy? No. But they were actually, I liked them. And in fact, I sometimes get cosplay props and, Halloween props or what have you I even shop around Dollar Tree just to have new ASMR stuff. And I came across the community on Twitter, and depending on who you ask, some will say I'm a toxic person, and some will say I'm a cool guy. And what happened was I made a video, December 2019. I wasn't feeling the Christmas spirit. I mean, it's been 5 years since my mom died, and I wasn't feeling the Christmas spirit. In my early 30s, I didn't feel like I was going anywhere. I felt like I was spinning my back wheels. I still do, believe it or not. So I made this video, and the ASMR community was saying they were all loving and accepting. And then I'm not going to go in details about what happened, but I came across these ASMRtists. They made and I don't know, because they'll say something bad here, and I'm just recollecting. So here goes. They don't watch this channel anyway, so here goes. I made this video against this person named Blue. That was their name. And I didn't know she was sick. I didn't know she had an illness. And I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't know. And they stepped trying to say I was the bad person and everything. I'm like, hey, I didn't know any better. So, long story short, a number of people I respected just started, turning away. I made videos trying to make it right, but they didn't care to listen. But I do know, I have spoke to a prophet, a real legit prophet. I am not making that up, that said these people are going to come back and that things will be good again. I mean, this guy that I talk to, this prophet I speak to, he's not, he's never been wrong. He's always been 100% accurate on everything. Case in point, I didn't tell him this, but one time, out of desperation for a direct answer, I spoke to like this psychic on Fiverr.com. And, didn't think nothing of it. And then my friend, the prophet that I talked to, his name is John, my prophet friend John, I call him John. That's his name. So whenever I say John, please understand I'm referring to the prophet that I speak to. Very good Christian guy. John sends me a private message. He says, Brother Shadrach, I sense some dark energy around you. I said, what do you mean? And he says, did you consult with a psychic? And I said, yes. He said, no, 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 Brother Shadrach, that ain't good. No, 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 no. We must pray to get that dark energy away. No psychics for you. Now, the reason that I consulted with all these prophets and what have you, and these, and foolishly a psychic, was in the aftermath of my mother's death and the fact that I'm getting much older. I'm very concerned about what's going to happen to me in the future. Because when my mom died, when my mother took her last breath, I was there in hospice with my dad, my two older brothers, and myself, and the hospice lady. We were there. When she took her last breath, I started becoming more fearful about my future than ever before. That I was like, I need answers. I don't want to sit around and wait. I'm the kind of person that says, I need the answer now. I need the answer right away. I don't mind reading a few pages ahead, but as long as it's something good, hey, if it's bad, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. Regardless of what happens. I'm reminded by a statement that used to be said on a radio program that my grandma used to listen to. I talked about her earlier in this video, and she said, and the radio was, and it was a Christian broadcast radio. I don't think it was actually this, but it was about it would always go like this. Every noon it had this beautiful sound, this beautiful heavenly music, and it would say, God is still on the throne and prayer changes things. This is Brother Hutchins, and you're listening, Brother Hutchins, or Hutchings, I don't remember the guy's name, but you're tuning in to this Christian radio program that I don't remember. I still imagine hearing that music that day. And that's the one thing that gives me solace, is knowing that regardless of what happens, God is still on the throne. He's still ruling over the universe and quite possibly the multiverse as well. I'm gonna give the multiverse as well because I believe in the multiverse. But anyways, the thing about, God and everything, about why I believe in God, is I find atheism hard to swallow. And here's why. How in the world do you, and I ask atheists this, how in the world do you deny the existence of a God when the universe is so huge and so intense that human beings are not even the size of amoeba compared to the grand scheme of things? The earth is just a grain of sand, a speck of dirt compared to the greatness of the United States. That's how insignificant humanity is on this planet called Earth. That is just illustrates how, or one step further, humanity and Earth, all of this entire, amounting in this entire universe, we are just a grain of sand on the planet Earth, compared to the planet Earth. That's what we are. Just a grain of sand compared to the planet Earth. And these atheists that want to deny the existence of a God, and yet you look at the expanse of the universe. There's a site I visit called Scale of the Universe, and everything is to scale about human beings, about how big humanity would stand. And when you zoom out all the way to the observable universe, I'm like, whoa, I don't feel so big anymore. You start to realize, how insignificant you really are as a human being in this great thing called the universe. The universe is beautiful. I mean, as I speak, I do believe there are aliens doing whatever aliens do. I do believe the possibility there could be an intergalactic war. And I do believe, there are supernovas destroying planets that you and I and anybody watching could never possibly ever have a chance to meet or know. Think about that as I say these words. And for an atheist to deny the existence of a God and yet be amazed at the size of this universe and the possibility of a multiverse doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It doesn't make sense to deny God. Sure, we have problems in the way of warfare, bigotry, racism, the environment, the list goes on, but to deny the existence of a God and yet you look at the scale of the universe, I'm like, whoa. We're not as big as we think we are. As I say these words, I think about how small I really am. How small I truly am compared to this universe. Now, Jordan, if you're still watching this video, and I hope you are, I hope you're taking notes, because I really want to see a video response. The very fact that there's more to this universe than what we see, that's just phenomenal. Especially when it comes to the existence of angels and demons and God and the devil, or if you prefer Jesus and Satan, or Yahweh and Lucifer, whatever names you want to call them. I'll just call them Jesus and Lucifer. I use Lucifer. I don't know why, but that's just the preferred name I call the devil. Oh, this is just phenomenal stuff. But when you really think about it, when you really do think about the size of this universe, I don't understand why people can't acknowledge the existence of a God and the acknowledge of a devil. Now, I'll say this. I don't understand why people would deny such existence. I've had demon attacks. They were not pleasant experiences. I'm not making that up. Do I look like someone that would make up a demon attack? No. It ain't something I want to ever experience again. But in all honesty, they made me more of a faithful believer than ever before. People can say whatever they want. I mean, my older brother, he's an atheist, and my other brother, I don't know what he believes in, but I believe. And interestingly enough, one of the prophets I spoke to said those two will come back. And I do believe they will come to the faith. I have faith in that regard. And I have the assurance that my brothers and their families will come to know Christ. Where to begin? Where to go on? Oh, I've lost my train of thought, but that's okay. I mean, I make my rambling videos. I mean, how can anyone deny the existence of the greatness of this universe? It's beautiful. Sure, the universe has its problems. But the thing is this. If someone can believe in the existence of a Big Bang, then I'm quite certain they could also believe in the existence of a God. I do believe in I believe in God. But why Jesus Christ? Why not Buddha? Why not Allah? Why not Krishna? Why not paganism? Why not Odin or Zeus or any of those other guys? And I'll tell you why. Jesus didn't come down, he didn't come down smiting people left and right because they did bad. He didn't go around showing. All right, this is part 2 of the video. This will be part 2. My YouTube video just cut off, so I may have to edit these two together. But anyways, what I was saying was this. Is that why Jesus? Why not Allah? Why not Buddha? Why not Krishna? Why not any of those guys? And I'll tell you why. The reason is Jesus didn't come down and smite people. He didn't come down and say, "Oh, you're a sinner. You're a sinner. You're a sinner. Hellfire and brimstone." Yes, he did preach about hell and everything. But Jesus actually came down and he showed kindness and love and compassion. One of my favorite stories in the Bible involving Jesus was he came across this woman caught in the act of adultery, and they were going to stone this woman. And Jesus looked at the Pharisees and said, "Okay, which one of you without sin can cast the first stone?" Not one of them could even say they could have no sins. And Jesus walks up to the lady and says, "I don't condemn you. Go and sin no more." That right there was a beautiful story right there. Another great thing about Jesus was how he told, in fact, Jesus' biggest enemies, and I like how he does this. It wasn't Jews, it wasn't Romans, and it wasn't sinners. Jesus' biggest adversaries were the religious leaders of his day that, corrupted the gospel, kind of like he dealt with what would be the equivalent of what was the Westboro Baptist Church back in their heyday. Jesus walked up and told these guys a few things here and there, going as far as to call them whitewashed tombs filled with dead man's bones. And that really was a harsh criticism from Jesus. And he spoke to Nicodemus, and when he spoke to Nicodemus, he spoke very kindly and loving and understanding. And he explained it very thoroughly. And when Jesus, when he was being nailed at Calvary, he didn't condemn his enemies. He showed love and compassion. Now, for a long time, I used to show anger at my enemies, especially the ordeal I had in the ASMR community and what have you, because I felt I was being villainized when it was all just a misunderstanding that got out of hand. And that's another topic for another day. But to tell you the truth, if you want my honest opinion about the ASMRtist who have blocked me on Twitter and don't talk to me, I'm going to say this right now, Jordan. I don't hate them for anything. I do not hate them for any reason. and I never will. Did I get angry at them? Yes. Did I feel that it was unjustified the way I was treated? Yes. Did I wish harm for a while? I did, but I overcame that. You know why? You know what led me to not wish harm or hatred against them? It was Jesus. When Jesus was being nailed at Calvary, he said, he said to his tormentors, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." And I started thinking a long time about that. If Jesus could forgive the people nailing him on the cross, crucifying him, who is to say I cannot forgive the way I was treated by these ASMR artists? So I'm gonna say this to the ASMR artists that blocked me and have been antagonistic towards me because of this misunderstanding. I don't hate you. I admire you as human beings, fellow ASMR artists, and I'm very proud to share this world with. They're great people. I don't hate them for anything. And I choose not to hate them. I wanted to, but then I thought about what Jesus said. He said, "Forgive them, Father. They know not what they do." And to those ASMR artists that have dissociated from me, I'm going to say the same thing. Forgive them, Father. They know not what they do. I mean, a lot of people have said that once you get to know me, you realize I am a good guy. I mean, there's a lot I could go on. And now, and another thing you mentioned, Jordan, is that you want to be, big star. Well, that makes two of us. That makes two of us because I too want to be a big celebrity on YouTube. I mean, check out Mr. Beast. I mean, that guy, man, that guy's phenomenal. That guy really does have a big following. If I had a fraction of what Mr. Beast had, I'd be happy. I mean, you've got more views and more comments than I do, or ever hope to have. But I'll say this. I will say it's a great honor to share this universe with someone as amazing as you, Jordan. You're a great guy. Your music is very amazing. I mean, I'm a writer myself. I've written articles. I've written books. I've made movies. Were they blockbusters? Were they bestsellers? No. Will I ever aspire to become successful? I'm still working on that. I'm not giving up on that dream yet. I mean, look at Colonel Sanders. He didn't become a success until he was 60. I'm just, I'm not picking my nose, you can see. See? But anyways. I'm not giving up on that hope of becoming, successful. It might not happen now, but I'm still going to strive for that. And why do I like ASMR? Why do I like ASMR, aside from the tingles and relaxation I get? It's very creative stuff to do. I don't understand why people don't like ASMR. I guess they don't allow it to take hold. The thing with ASMR is you cannot force it. You have to let it take hold. You can't just like that. You have to let it take hold of you. You can't. You have to let it take hold of you. You have to let it happen naturally. ASMR is not sexual. If there is any ASMR that is, it's a small fraction, a minute fraction of it. The vast majority of it is mainly doctor role plays, character role plays, like video game characters and what have you, and dentists and doctors, and original characters. What interests me about ASMR is how it's entertaining. To see these talented people putting on these costumes, putting on these costumes, putting on these costumes and everything. It's truly phenomenal. Truly amazing. These people are very talented. And that's what I like about it. That's why I like it. Not everyone's going to be on board with ASMR, and that's okay. That's fine with me. But I choose not to hate my detractors. I'm just going to continue doing what I do. People don't like it? Fine. I'm just going to keep on striving. I can't make people like ASMR. I can't make people like my content. I mean, even though I accidentally bought subscribers, I came across a guy on Twitter. He said, hey, I'll help you get your channels across. And turns out he was just selling me subscribers. And I was very upset about that. To chastise me for inadvertently buying subscribers is like chastising me, chastising a weightlifter for drinking antifreeze thinking it was Gatorade. And that is a true story. I just don't understand why some people have to hate ASMR, but that's their business. Well, I wonder what your response is going to be, and I really hope to hear from you soon. Anyways, take care.